Welcome to our comprehensive guide on the Goods and Services Tax, or GST, in India. GST is a landmark indirect tax reform that has transformed the way goods and services are taxed across the country. Introduced to simplify and unify the complex tax structure, GST aims to create a single, seamless market by replacing multiple cascading taxes previously levied by both central and state government. In this video, we'll explore what GST is, how it works, and why it matters for businesses and consumers alike. Let's begin by understanding the basics of GST and its significance in the Indian economy. GST, or Goods and Services Tax, is an indirect tax levied on the supply of goods and services in India. Unlike direct taxes, GST is collected at every stage of the production and distribution process but is ultimately borne by the final consumer. This means that businesses pay GST on their purchases and collect GST on their sales, with the difference being remitted to the government. The system is designed to avoid the cascading effect of taxes, ensuring transparency and efficiency. GST has replaced a host of previous indirect taxes, streamlining the tax process for everyone involved. One of the key features of GST is its structured tax slabs. Goods and services are categorized into different tax rates: 0%, 3%, 5%, 12%, 18%, and 28%. This classification helps in determining the applicable tax rate for various products and services, making the system more organized and predictable. However, it's important to note that certain items like petroleum products, alcoholic drinks, and electricity are not covered under GST. These items continue to be taxed separately by individual state governments following the previous tax regime. GST was officially implemented in India on July 1, 2017, marking a significant shift in the country's tax landscape. This change was brought about through the 101st Amendment of the Constitution of India. The introduction of GST replaced a multitude of central and state taxes, reducing complexity and making compliance easier for businesses. The transition to GST was a massive undertaking, involving coordination between the central and state governments, and required businesses to adapt to new systems and processes. GST Council is the governing body responsible for making key decisions related to GST, including tax rates, rules, and regulations. The Council comprises the finance ministers from the central government and all the states, ensuring that every region has a say in the tax system. The Council's role is crucial in maintaining uniformity and resolving disputes, making GST a truly collaborative effort between the center and the state. This structure helps in addressing the unique needs of different regions while keeping the tax system unified. Legal framework for GST is based on two main parliamentary acts: the Integrated Goods and Services Tax (IGST) Act and the Central Goods and Services Tax (CGST) Act, both passed in April 2017. These acts lay down the rules for how GST is to be levied, collected, and administered across the country. The IGST Act governs interstate transactions, while the CGST Act covers intrastate transactions. Together, they form the backbone of the GST system, ensuring consistency and clarity in tax administration. Under Article 366(12) of the Indian Constitution, goods are defined as all materials, commodities, and articles. In the context of GST, goods must be movable and marketable. This means that for something to be classified as goods, it should come into existence and be capable of being brought to the market for sale. This definition is crucial in determining what items are subject to GST and helps in distinguishing between goods and services for tax purposes. According to Article 366(26)(a) of the Constitution, as amended by the 101st Amendment, service means anything other than goods. This broad definition ensures that all activities not classified as goods are treated as services under GST. By clearly distinguishing between goods and services, the GST system can apply the appropriate tax rules and rates, ensuring comprehensive coverage of all economic activity. Term state under Article 366(26)(b) includes not only the states of India but also union territories with legislatures. This definition is important for GST because it determines how taxes are collected and distributed. By including union territories, the GST system ensures that all regions are covered under a unified tax structure, promoting fairness and consistency across the country. For GST, India's indirect tax system was highly fragmented. Both the central and state governments levied a variety of taxes, such as value-added tax (VAT), central sales tax (CST), excise duty, entertainment tax (OCTRA), and local taxes. Each state had its own set of rules and regulations, making compliance complicated for businesses operating in multiple states. This overlapping of taxes often led to confusion and inefficiency in the tax system. One of the biggest drawbacks of the pre-GST tax system was the cascading effect, also known as tax on tax. For example, when goods were manufactured, the central government charged excise duty. When these goods were sold, the state government imposed VAT on the total price, which included the excise duty. This led to taxes being levied on top of other taxes, increasing the overall cost for consumers and reducing transparency. Pre-GST era saw a long list of indirect taxes. Central taxes included central excise duty, additional duties of excise, service tax, and surcharges. State taxes comprised VAT, state sales tax, purchase tax, entertainment tax, luxury tax, entry tax, and more. This multitude of taxes created administrative challenges and increased the compliance burden for businesses, especially those operating across state borders. Not all goods are covered under GST. Certain items such as petroleum crude, high-speed diesel, motor spirit petrol, natural gas, aviation turbine fuel, and alcoholic liquor for human consumption are excluded from GST. These goods continue to be taxed separately by the central or state governments, following the previous tax regime. This exclusion is mainly due to the significant revenue these items generate for the states. GST in India is divided into four main types: CGST Central Goods and Services Tax, SGST State Goods and Services Tax, IGST Integrated Goods and Services Tax, and UTGST Union Territory Goods and Services Tax. This structure allows both the central and state governments to share tax revenues efficiently, depending on whether the transaction is within a state, between states, or in a union territory. CGST, or Central Goods and Services Tax, is levied by the central government on all transactions of goods and services within a state. It replaces previous central taxes like service tax, central excise duty, and customs duty. The revenue collected from CGST goes directly to the central government, making it a crucial component of the new tax system. SGST, or State Goods and Services Tax, is imposed by the state government on all interstate transactions. It replaces state-level taxes such as VAT, state sales tax, entertainment tax, and others. The revenue from SGST goes to the state where the sale is made, ensuring that states continue to have a significant source of income under the GST regime. GST, or Integrated Goods and Services Tax, is applicable to interstate transactions and imports. It is collected by the central government and then distributed among the states involved in the transaction. IGST simplifies the process by ensuring that states only deal with the central government for interstate tax settlements, rather than with each other. UTGST, or Union Territory Goods and Services Tax, applies to transactions within union territories that do not have their own legislature. This tax is charged alongside CGST, ensuring that union territories are also covered under the GST system. The revenue from UTGST goes to the respective union territory administration. When a sale of goods or services takes place within the same state, both CGST and SGST, or UTGST, in union territories are applied. The central government collects CGST while the state government collects SGST. This dual structure ensures that both levels of government receive their share of tax revenue from local transactions. For transactions that cross state borders, IGST is levied. This tax is collected by the central government and later distributed among the states involved. The IGST mechanism simplifies interstate trade by centralizing tax collection and settlement, making it easier for businesses to operate across state lines. Union territories with legislatures such as Delhi and Puducherry are treated like states for GST purposes. For other union territories, UTGST is applied along with CGST. This ensures that all regions, regardless of their administrative status, are included in the GST framework, promoting uniformity and fairness. One of the biggest advantages of GST is that it has replaced a wide range of central and state taxes. These include excise duty, service tax, VAT, central sales tax, luxury tax, entry tax, and more. By consolidating these taxes into a single system, GST has made tax compliance simpler and more efficient for businesses and individuals. Understand the impact of GST? Let's look at an example from the pre-GST era. Suppose a manufacturer produces steel ingots, which are then rolled into plates and eventually made into furniture. At each stage, taxes like excise duty and VAT are applied, leading to a cascading effect. The final price paid by the consumer includes multiple layers of tax, making goods more expensive. Now let's see how GST changes the scenario. Using the same example, GST is applied at each stage, but businesses can claim credit for the tax paid on their purchases. This eliminates the cascading effect, resulting in a lower overall tax burden and a more transparent pricing structure. The final consumer pays tax only on the value added at each stage, not on the entire accumulated value. For an item to be classified as goods under GST, it must be both movable and marketable. This means the item should come into existence and be capable of being brought to the market for sale. These criteria help in distinguishing goods from immovable property, which is not subject to GST. In the case of Deputy Commissioner of Customs and Excise v. Tungbhadra Steel Products Limited, 2004, the court examined whether electric overhead traveling cranes manufactured for use in dam construction were considered goods. Since these cranes were immovable property, the court held that they could not be classified as goods under GST. Malar Siddeswara Spinning Mills vs. Commissioner of Customs and Excise 2004, the court ruled that machinery bolted in a frame which could be unbolted and moved was considered movable property. This meant such machinery could be classified as goods under GST, as it met the criteria of being movable and marketable. In the case of Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai v. Union of India, a petrol pump with a large storage capacity, not embedded in the earth and removable without dismantling, was held to be immovable in nature. This distinction is important for determining GST applicability, as only movable goods are taxed. Commissioner of Customs and Excise v. Solid and Correct Engineering Works, 2010, the court considered whether machinery fixed by nuts and bolts to a foundation was movable. The court held that since the machinery could be moved and was not intended to be permanently attached, it was considered movable property and thus classified as goods under GST. GST has unified the Indian market by replacing a complex web of indirect taxes with a single, streamlined system. This has made it easier for businesses to operate across state lines and has reduced the compliance burden. The unified tax structure also promotes transparency and efficiency, benefiting both businesses and consumers. By eliminating the cascading effect of taxes and simplifying compliance, GST is expected to boost economic growth in India. The new system encourages businesses to expand across states, increases tax compliance, and helps the government collect revenue more efficiently. Over time, GST aims to make the Indian economy more competitive and attractive to investors. GST Council plays a pivotal role in the ongoing evolution of the GST system. It regularly reviews tax rates, addresses industry concerns, and ensures that the tax structure remains relevant and effective. By fostering cooperation between the center and states, the Council helps maintain the stability and integrity of the GST framework. GST has introduced a more transparent and technology-driven compliance system. Businesses are required to file regular returns, maintain detailed records, and use digital platforms for tax payments and credits. This shift to digital compliance has reduced paperwork and made it easier for businesses to stay up to date with their tax obligations. Small businesses have benefited from GST through simplified compliance procedures and the composition scheme, which allows eligible businesses to pay tax at a lower rate. This has reduced the tax burden on small enterprises and encouraged more businesses to enter the formal economy, contributing to overall economic growth. For consumers, GST has brought greater transparency in pricing. Since the tax is applied uniformly across the country, consumers can better understand the tax component in the price of goods and services. Over time, GST is expected to lead to more competitive pricing and increased consumer confidence. Implementation of GST has been supported by robust technology platforms. The GST network, GSTN, provides an online portal for registration, return filing, and payment of taxes. This digital infrastructure has made tax administration more efficient and accessible for businesses of all sizes. GST has streamlined the process for exporters by allowing them to claim refunds on the tax paid on inputs. This has made Indian goods more competitive in the global market, as exporters are not burdened with embedded taxes. The system encourages exports and supports the government's vision of making India a major player in international trade. Imports are also subject to GST, specifically IGST, which is collected by the central government. This ensures that imported goods are taxed at the same rate as domestically produced goods, creating a level playing field for Indian manufacturers and promoting fair competition. GST applies not only to goods but also to services. By bringing both under a single tax regime, GST has simplified the taxation of services, making it easier for service providers to comply with tax laws and for the government to monitor and collect revenue. GST ensures that both the central and state governments continue to receive revenue from indirect taxes. The dual structure of CGST and SGST allows for a fair distribution of tax proceeds, supporting the financial needs of both levels of government and enabling them to fund public services and development projects. While GST has simplified the tax system, it has also introduced new compliance requirements. Businesses must adapt to regular return filing, maintain accurate records, and stay updated with changes in tax rules. The government continues to work on making compliance easier through technology and support initiatives. GST is an evolving system, with the government and GST Council regularly reviewing and updating tax rates and rules. As the system matures, it is expected to become even more efficient and business-friendly, further supporting India's economic growth and development. To sum up, GST is a comprehensive indirect tax that has replaced a complex web of central and state taxes in India. It promotes transparency, reduces the cascading effect of taxes, and supports economic growth. By unifying the tax system, GST has made compliance easier for businesses and brought greater clarity for consumers. Introduction of GST marks a new era in India's taxation system. By fostering cooperation between the center and states and leveraging technology, GST has set the stage for a more efficient and equitable tax environment. As the system continues to evolve, it promises to drive India's growth and make the economy more robust. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the goods and services tax in India. GST has brought about a significant transformation in the country's tax structure, benefiting businesses, consumers, and the government alike. As India continues to adapt and improve its tax system, GST stands as a testament to the power of reform and collaboration. Stay informed, stay compliant, and make the most of the opportunities GST offers.